Alright, here we are, Canadian junkyard. Okay, pro tip here. Action.
Hey everybody, welcome back to your favorite YouTube show, Fixing Random Crap with Craig and Family.
Yeah, there we go. Alright, today we are down in the basement, and we've come across this big crack. It is not leaking. We're just in the process of getting these walls
our house is going to fall apart.
more appropriately insulated, because they were very poorly insulated.
Yeah.
And we found this crack. And we found a second crack too, which I'll show you in a minute.
Where's the second crack?
It's over on the other wall behind us. This is the bigger one that's more obvious for
people to see.
I'll show you that crack. I'll show you the product we're going to use today. And I'll bring you along for the ride. More to come.
I'm coming on the ride too.
Woohoo.
Yeah. It's me.
We're back. Here's the other crack. So this one starts up at the corner of this window. Comes down and then sort of just gets into this
thingamajig.
This seam from the form.
This thingamajig.
This clearly leaked a long time ago. Yeah. I don't believe it's leaked in some time. We had a really big rain.
Yeah.
Not too long ago, and I got water in a few other unexpected places.
Had giant hail. It was like bonk, bonk.
Yeah, a lot of hail too. But this part was dry. This part was dry. But we figure while we've got this open, we're going to make sure that it's taken care of for good. Yeah. So let's go over here, and maybe Ava, you can help demonstrate what we're going to use today.
What are we going to use?
We've put out some tools here. We got a few of these kits. This is the Sika Pro Foundation Crack Repair Kit. Sika Fix. We're going to open that up in a second. You can see some of the other stuff we're going to need. Gloves, safety glasses, wire brush. Yeah, you got your safety glasses on. Let's see them. Nice, looking good. Extra safe. Chisel, hammer, hot glue gun, and some extra hot glue. That's actually a craft one, so we'll see. And then we have the two of these kits, and I brought one extra tube of the polyurethane, the actual injection, the stuff that goes in. How would you like to open that box, Ava, and show us what's in it? You got to pull that out. Pull this out like this, and then you can pull up, and then you can unfold the two top pieces. Perfect. Okay, what do we got?
This weird stuff.
There should be 3 bags of this. This is plug. That's the repair mortar. That's what we are going to use to actually create the seal on the crack.
1, 2, 3.
And so we'll talk about that in a second. What else we got?
And this stuff in my jig.
That's the polyurethane. It's just like it's the same as that. I just wanted to have an extra one. I'm hoping to get by with only maybe having to use one kit. Maybe be able to take one back. Okay, that, and then we have some instructions which we will read. These are the anchors that actually go on the wall. So what we're going to do is first off, we're going to use the chisel to open up the crack. We'll take the hammer, and we will try to, like, especially some of these spots here. Oh, that's fine right now. It's kind of loose there already, a little bit cracked. This sort of area. Anyway, we're going to go along the edge of all of this and try to open it up. That's going to, I think, be especially important on the other crack where it's really tight. We'll use the hammer and the chisel for that. Then we're going to use the wire brush to clean everything up real good.
It goes from the ceiling all the way to the floor.
I know. It's a big one, that one.
Yeah.
This crack is actually under the garage, which is, I think, why we haven't seen any water here. So there's just not much water that goes that way. Anyway, and then we're going to, once it's all cleaned up and we're happy with how the crack is opened up and cleaned up, we're going to use the hot glue gun to mount the injection ports, and then we're going to mix up this stuff to spread over the whole crack, and also hold on the ports, and then we're going to let that sit for a while because that's got to harden, and then we will inject the polyurethane into the ports, and we'll take you along for the ride, see how it goes. Okay, not sure how obvious it is, but we have taken the chisel and opened up this crack a fair bit. Just kind of like any loose edges, you know, we kind of went up and down the whole thing and just put a little bit of a groove on it, you know. It's hard to, this part opened a fair bit. That's a big crack. This kit says it is good for cracks up to 1/4 inch wide. I feel like we're about 1/4 inch here. Up here, I feel like we're way bigger. So we'll see whether that is good enough up there. But anyway, we're going to next take the wire brush, and maybe I'll do some of that live on camera. Here, we got our wire brush, and we're just going to go through and just clean all this stuff out of here. Creates a fair bit of dust, actually. And I could have also used an angle grinder as per the directions for this. I just thought that was going to make it a bigger mess, so I decided to just do it by hand. A lot of stuff came out as bigger chunks like that, so it'll just be easier to clean up, make less of a mess here. Anyway, you'll see I'm getting kind of some of the stuff out of there that is just kind of stuck in there from when I was chiseling it out. So we'll clean this up a little bit more and move on to the next bit. Okay, we're back. You can see that we have got a lot of the injection ports installed here. I'm going to show you how we do that before I put on the last one. You can see the little Sharpie mark there. Just right there. I marked it every, they say 4 to 6 inches. I think it was 6 to 8. Anyway, I followed the directions. And depending on how wide the crack is, you can space them out a little differently. But generally, it's 4 to 8 inches, depending on the width of the crack. So we have one down there near the bottom. And based on all the measurements, that's how we put them in here. All we're using is this is like a crafting hot glue gun. Pretty easy. Let's see if I can do this record this with one hand. Don't know. Let's see. Like this. It's not gonna work. Anyway, I'm just putting a dab of hot glue on each side. So kind of one there, and then one over the other side, and yeah, just centering it over the crack. That holds it pretty good, and then we'll be able to come with our plug mortar and put everything together. Can't remember where I stopped recording. This was like a week and a half ago or so when I was last working on this, because progress is slow around this place. But can see that it's been chiseled out, and used the wire brush to really clean everything out. And I may give it a little vacuum actually before I put the plug on, just to make sure that I've got everything sucked out of that crack, and then we'll be ready to mix up the plug mortar and start injecting. Okay, we're back. As with most of my projects, it's been a couple weeks since the last clip. But if I remember right, where I left you guys is we had used the chisel and the hammer to like open the crack up a little bit, just to get the sharp edges off it and make it more accessible for the polyurethane to get in there. We used the wire brush just to clean it up, make sure we got anything else that was loose, and I just vacuumed it out. So it's ready to go now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start mixing. I'm going to read the directions on this guy. I got my sherbet bucket here, and I got a little one of these guys that's going to be able to go just probably in the garbage afterwards. And I think the plan is going to be to go along and really like get these covered, get all the injection ports covered really well, and then cover up all the rest all the way down. So that's the plan. And the other thing we're going to do too, they recommend, is to keep it wet in there. So we got a spray bottle, and we're going to hit the whole crack before we put the plug stuff on it. And then also before we inject it, we're going to shoot water in those injection ports to make sure it's wet as we are getting ready to inject it. Okay, more to come. Okay, a little update here, part way. Tried to focus on, like I say, first just really anchoring those injection points, and then fill in space the rest of it. But this stuff sets like super fast. Like it's not coming off there. Stuff's looking real good. So yeah, anyway, gonna keep going. I've only used about half of this bag so far, of the first bag. It comes with 3. Again, my hope is to do 2 cracks for one of these boxes. So we'll see how it goes, but we'll keep on going along and show you the finished product. Obviously, we got to get it out a little bit wider. I think the instructions said like go a couple inches on each side. I'll double check that, but we'll show you what it looks like when we're done. Okay, another quick update here. we're close to done. I've just went and looked, and there's a few little spots when I have the flashlight on that I noticed. I don't know if you can see in there. It's not quite covered up as much as I would like. And I also realized that up here in the header, it's kind of hard to see, but I got to take that insulation out because, of course, the crack extends across the top. So I want to put plug on top of that too, because I want to make sure all the polyurethane goes out and not just up and out and then roll down the wall on this side, because that would be a mess. We want all this stuff to get right into the foundation wall. And if it has an out at the top there, then, you know, but it's going to take the path of least resistance, and that'll probably be it. So I've used one full bag and about half a bag. I would say a little less than half a bag. I say once I mix up one more small batch tomorrow or whenever I get back to this to touch up a few little spots, I will be down to a bag and a half left to do the other crack. And the other crack, if you remember, only goes up to about here because the window is there. So I think I'm going to be fine for the amount of plug they gave me to be able to do the 2 cracks. But anyway, this is looking good. More to come next time. Yeah, this is the important step that I forgot, is you need to get water into the crack. So I'm going to go to each of these holes. It doesn't have to be a ton, but I got to get it wet in there. It's all going to run down, obviously. Oops. Almost there. I'll be fast forwarding a lot of this footage to not bore people stupid. Okay. So now we're going to go back to starting at the bottom. Holding that in there good. And we want to pump this. It says 3 or 4 good pumps. Just take a fair bit of pressure. And then wait for a little while for it to get itself in there. And we should eventually start to see stuff coming out the top. Okay, so we've got some coming out at the top, so that's good. I'm going to pop this out, and I'm going to put the plug in, and I'm going to move up to this guy, and we're going to keep going. And we'll just continue this way until we get all the way up to the top. And I'll show you the finished product, which isn't going to look much different from this. But I'll make a note of the time. Probably been at this for about 2 or 3 minutes on how long it's going to take. And also, I'm really curious to how many tubes of this PU stuff I'm going to need. That's funny, I said PU. It doesn't stink.
Yes, it does.
Although you said
that stuff doesn't stink.
Yeah.
Your crack stinks.
Yeah, the crack. Very stinky crack here. Gross. That's what happens when I bring down the recording assistant. We get into the toilet humor on the channel. Okay, there's the next one. So I'm going to pull this one out. Get that in. Okay, so that one went quite a bit faster. This one's a lot easier to do at this height. All right, so I think this is going to be pretty boring. We'll cut it for now, and I'll give you an update when we're done. Okay, quick update here. We are done. This crack has been fully injected. Interesting story, though. So I did the first 4 ports, I think, and then the first tube was gone. So we get the second tube going, and then I did the next 3, and I did this one, and this one, and that one, I think. Yeah, and there were 3 left. 1, 2, 3. And I ran out again. This is a really wide crack, you'll remember from the pictures earlier, or the earlier videos. So I'm not surprised that this took quite a bit. Also, you tend to think that this thing is like that is an empty tube. Notice how this is still like a fair bit out. See, that thing is only about halfway down because there's 2 compartments in there where this stuff is mixing together. So there's not a ton in those tubes. Those are like $48 a pop. But I had bought, 1 box, and then, well, I bought 2 boxes, but I also bought 1 extra tube, again, in hopes of being able to take that one back, which I hope to be able to do. So yeah, it didn't go as far as I thought. And, because life gets in the way, like I'm working from home today, but I had a meeting, I needed to be on. So I kind of just tried this on my lunch break and had to get to a meeting. So, like, when I ran out of the second tube, I was here. And I still needed these 3 to fill. So I was like, well, I'll plug that one and then see what happens. And then basically, like, within a couple minutes before I even went upstairs, this one started leaking here. So I plugged that one. And then asked my wife to keep an eye on it while I was in the meeting, and indeed both of them started leaking. So obviously the polyurethane has made its way all the way up to the top. I would have liked to have pressure on, have the gun in these and force it up. I don't know whether that would have forced it in a little bit more, and just because I left it for a while, it just like kind of rose up instead of into the crack. But I mean, this stuff expands like crazy. You will see that there's a few little leaks that I've sprung where obviously my Sika set application was not exactly perfect, but not bad. This stuff is it generally held pretty well, so I'm pretty happy with that. And looking at how this stuff foams up, like, I think this would have spread very well inside the crack. So yeah, we're gonna call that one done, and then we're gonna get one more extra tube. I may pick up 2 in hopes of returning 1. But I hope to still return this box. But I'll probably pick up 2 fresh tubes. And I'm expecting to hopefully only need 1 over on this side. Because this is this crack is not as tall. Notice how it only goes to the window there. And it's also much, much, much narrower. So I suspect that, it's gonna take less polyurethane to get all the way up there because it's a much narrower crack and tighter. So I will go shopping, and we will do that, and I'll let you know how it turns out. And I still have about half a bag of this. This is the last bag, but I have about half a bag left of that stuff. So that was enough. That would have been enough, even if this crack was all the way to the ceiling and it didn't go to the corner of the window. The 3 bags of Sika set plug would have been enough to do 2 cracks. So it turns out not a bad move to be able to, get the 1 kit and then just buy the extra polyurethane tubes. I noticed this is like a different color here. I don't know why this is. That one hasn't totally dried yet. It's kind of funny. I wonder if there is a little bit of moisture there. Anyway, we will see, but more to come. Okay, so final wrap-up video here. I'm going to show you the other one I did, but I'll tape this one again for reference. We had a couple of minor blowouts here. That was probably the worst one there, but nothing too major. Very confident that everything is in the crack. This one, again, took 2 entire tubes to fill, I think because the crack was significantly wider. So I just finished injecting this one over here. It didn't go as well, to be honest with you. I think I got a little bit cocky with thinking that I had it sealed up totally. I probably should have used more of the plug stuff, and especially should have added more around the injection ports themselves. I ended up springing a few leaks, as is quite evident here. So, that's not ideal. I'm not super worried about it, primarily because, I don't think this crack has leaked in 20 years. Probably almost 40 years. I think it leaked very early on. But anyway, I still wanted to get as much of the polyurethane in there as I could. I am confident that there is a ton of it in the crack. This crack was significantly narrower, as you can remember. It was way tighter, and of course that meant it would be more likely for stuff to try and escape at these spots. So that, of course, means like there's less pressure. It's going to find the easiest way out, right? So if it can find a way out at an edge here, and the crack is tight, then it's going to go that way. But I'm still very confident that a bunch of it is in there. So I'm going to call this good, but I wanted to share these lessons learned that really you want to make sure you take the time to ensure you're building things up significantly around those injection ports, especially in a situation like this one. I probably didn't go out far enough away from the crack, so I probably needed to go another couple inches, maybe out to here or something, just to make sure that I had really good coverage there. I am confident that it made it all the way to the top because it's leaking now. I don't know how well you can see that in there. It's coming out the very top of that crack there. That's starting to leak down the front, so that tells me it made its way all the way up into the corner of that window well there. Again, kind of hard to see from there, but it's there. And the other thing too that gives me some confidence is that whatever holes or gaps I had in my in the concrete on the outside here on the plug product, that'll be sealed up by this polyurethane. So I kind of, once I started to see leaks, I sort of just pumped it a couple extra times to make sure that the polyurethane went out through those spots. And so anyway, this one, there's still some left in that tube. I'm sure I could have done this crack all the way to the top if it had have went to the ceiling. But like I say, we got lots in there. We got it to come out of the top of each of the injection ports. It would always ooze out of the one above before we plugged it. So like I say, that's it. Hopefully this is somewhat helpful, and you'll learn from my mistakes on this one. And catch you next time on Fixing Random Crap with Craig. Later. Ooh, one last thing. It talked about like knocking these injection ports off with a hammer afterwards. I tried doing that. It just kind of was bending this one in particular, but I'm gonna try just doing it with tin snips. See how that works. Yeah, it's perfect. Easy peasy. Great. I prefer this. I'll be able to get that a little bit closer, I'm sure, if I want, but that's how I'm going to take those guys off. And that means I can put my insulating board right on top of that. All right, gone for real. Catch y'all later. See you next time.